Beloved heart, welcome to Immortal Star Pod episode 53, and this is the beginning of our second wave of Immortal Star Pod episodes, which begin the second year of this podcast, which feels incredibly special. So most of them I do record now on YouTube as well as a video, as well as on the pure audio channels. You can listen on Spotify, on iTunes, and on my website. So yeah, lots of choices depending on whether you love to watch and connect that way or just to listen through your ears. Just checking the sound settings as I say that. So, yes, this one especially a special, and I did want to feel super ready and organized and in some kind of perfect and perfected state to begin this seminal moment of 2024 and the new pod. And actually, here I am, bundled up in 1,000 layers of wool, feeling a little bit frazzled still on the other side of a gigantic home move, the end of a 7-year cycle of living in Avalon in Glastonbury in the UK, and we've had our home there right in the town for 7 years, and we packed it all up over this Christmas break. Everything is in storage and in storage containers there in Avalon, in the Avalon marshes, which as my partner kept pointing out, is this the best spot? As we saw the floods rising around them. So that's where our things are, and we are in a process of, just checking I've got my phone turned off there. Let me just pop it on airplane mode, make sure that, yeah, we, where was I? So, yeah, we completed all of that, and we are now, so if you're watching the pod, you'll see I haven't got my usual kind of elven things around me. They are here in the space. I've got a beautiful altar here lit, but I'm at my mum's home. We're here in Gloucestershire as part of a transition period before we're just checking everything is truly in place and ready to support the dream that we're holding in awareness, which is to go and look for our home in the Mediterranean. And we would really love to move there and to begin a great journey of looking and discovering our future home. So yeah, but there are a few things just for us to check our synchronizing in our lives with our children and how they are and where they're settled before we take off. So yeah, and my intuition told me a while back, and I'm still synchronizing with that through my conscious awareness, to be here with my mum principally for this time. There was a strong calling and a guidance to be with her right now. So this is where I've landed, and yeah, it's been pretty huge actually in the deeps of winter, with Christmas happening and the solstice energies to make the physical shift. And so all of this guidance, yeah, flows through. What I'd love to share now is the guidance for 2024, and I am just synchronizing with it myself. I've been using it as a very strong practice through this interval, because it relates very deeply to where I felt personally as well. So yeah, is that everything for the intro? So this is the Elven New Year 2024 pod, the guidance on the energies for this year, over lighting and how that relates to the year we've just been through. And I may intersperse my own how I've been sitting with that, also my own personal journey to some extent as I share this. I have some notes here written out to share so that I can track my way through it also. So yeah, this is where I will begin. So letting go of being in Avalon has been a huge step, and it's been happening for some time. There's been a completion, if you like, of the phase of Elven Starlight creation for the dawn that's taken place through being there. So I was guided back in 2015, about 9 years ago, to be in Avalon for the next phase. and I have been for the last 7 years, to awaken the golden elven heart of Gwenwyvar. And I've witnessed through the ceremonies that have been held there, and walking on the land, holding the Elven Starlight circles online for some years now, that the great and beautiful architectures of the elven dimensionality of the golden earth have been returning and synchronizing. They are some of the homelands of the new earth, and rising in the most beautiful majesty through that star portal of Avalon, which is, as many say, the heart chakra of the earth, as I experience an unfathomable interdimensional portal of the earth that in the most unconditional way allows the flowing, the returning of the many stargates of the new earth, and facilitates the return of so many to this frequency of unconditional love, and returning to the light of that which we truly are, returning in that light, as that light. And the lands have truly risen. I've experienced the inflowing of the golden stargates of the elven ascended galaxies of light of Laniakea, and beyond the great heavenly tree of our supercluster of galaxies, and the interfusion of those stargates returning through. And with that, the stargate of my own homeworld, elven homeworld of Avalon, and that has been extraordinary. And I guess in some ways, as this great phase completed, it was a very expanded consciousness to be experiencing all of the great stargates of these ascended elven galaxies of light, of this consciousness so beautiful that has so long been of the earth through her great ages of starlight of before and before. So these galaxies of light have created here for ages, and so within the earth and within her interdimensional body and record are these lands, and they are rising once again, these great treasures of an ancient and timeless earth that are synchronizing with the incoming cosmic light, and with the restored harmonic alignment with the galaxies of light that seeded these lands in the first place. So the pure light of these galaxies, of the stars, flowing in, if you like, with their new cosmic wave pulse of inspiration, of new starlight codes for the dawn, but awakening layers of beauty of the earth, of her lands, that are ancient and timeless, that are, if you like, foundational. They are foundations, ancient foundations upon which the dawn rises and shines once more. There is so much in ourselves that is already here, already within us, and already within the earth herself, that forms the most exquisite foundations for this dawn that we are walking, and the new starlight codes. So just a really unfathomably and unbelievably beautiful 7 years of dawn and ascension and starlight creation that has been an absolute wonder to witness and be part of. And my home, from a physical and human perspective, has felt aglow as the place within Avalon, within her body of light, that's been holding the temple of the Elven of Fina, and really aglow with that light of the morning star, through which these architectures have been pouring and converging and landing. And as the codes of my own home world of Avalon have been completing in awareness, there's been the deep remembrance of the specific lands, star-seeded long since, of the earth, Avalon. And in Elven Aurora, it's been so beautiful to share the portal to these lands as a gateway of remembrance. And we've been walking the lands of Avalon through the moons. So if I could describe it at the etheric or the esoteric level, what it feels to me has been happening is that as that full starlight frequency of who I am through my own elven and celestial lineage as I've created here for lifetimes and remembered and woven the golden oaken trees of Aurora, of these lands. And as this has been awoken and remembered within, and these codes gifted through the great starlight stargate of Avalon, it is, as it were, it is done. It is done. And the reason that I came to Avalon in the first place, which is to awaken that golden elven heart, is done, is completed. And the gift, the treasure of the part of the frequency of the new earth that I am, that I hold, gifted, and I'm able to move now from this great portal that has gifted this remembrance, and to starseed that light in the place upon the earth that is most resonant with its specific frequency. So if you like, Avalon is the place of arrival upon the earth, as with so many of us come to Avalon, ethically and physically, to, receive the mystery of who we are, and to remember ourselves. And so, with that unconditional love, and so, she says, many and so's, and so it is a big and so, because then it's, and so what comes next? What comes next? Well, at the human level, as I say, we are dreaming that is a movement. My sense there is deep synchronization with these lands of Aurora, to be found in the lands of the Mediterranean, and we have experienced some of that already, but I always hold the translation and the interpretation of the energy lightly, of how I might expect at the human level that to unfold. I know that is the unfoldment now, and where the star of these lands will land, and of our own lives, I will allow that to reveal itself as it does. And the most important thing for me is to stay true to that light, that inner knowing and metaphysic, if you like, within the core of my being, and it will be where it will be. So, but where I find that carries me to, and so in terms of the overlighting guidance and how this more individual story relates, so 2023, as I was showed it, was the year of the handing over of the keys of power for the creation of our physical realities to the angelic self. The angelic self, the immortal and celestial soul, now holds the keys of power to physical creation in our lives. And many of us may have been through a very intense and challenging passage with 2023 in the process of that reclamation, because it's taken us to the deepest place of where the karmic, genetic, ancestral codes have been very strongly mired in that density, and where the deepest belief systems, that physical reality, will always be in some way determined by or carried by the lower dimensional consciousness and control structures. We've gone to that deepest place within consciousness, and it's been liberated, set free within its nadir, or deepest, furthest, darkest, most lost place. And that with that handing over of the key in that deepest place, there is now seated that immortal starlight golden code within the core of our physical realities. And how much that's caught up consciously with our senses and our belief systems in our conscious awareness will be different for each one of us. It usually does run somewhat more gradually for that to sink in all of the way through. So we might feel that echoes of old belief systems about physical reality here still exist to some degree in our consciousness. But what I find is that it's almost quite translucent. It plays in but then plays out quite quickly. And I become aware of quite another possibility, quite another way of speaking, of feeling, of viewing my reality, and find that where before a fear level energy might have been able to take hold or have a kind of prevalence, that it just doesn't have quite the same power of illusion. It can't hold sway for quite the same length of time or intensity of experience of consciousness, that it quickly dissolves itself much more quickly dissolves itself into the luminosity of another awareness. And the guidance is that the legacy of 2023 is that for each one of us, some part of our physical reality is now completely expressive of that golden, crystalline, Christ-light frequency of who we truly are. It's expressive of that. Somewhat of our physical reality, our physical hologram is fully, we have accomplished it at the level of truest creation. And that part forms a kind of golden code, a reset point through which the whole can now migrate and take its foundational note from, its foundational tonal note, its pivot or its guiding shift and resonance point from. And that each one of us, if we scan, and I write about this in the newsletter, if we scan our reality, we can see the part that is holding this golden code. And what happened at Solstice, that's the completion of 2023. Then we came to the 21st of December and the end point of that cycle, of that solar cycle, and the beginning, the seeding of the new cosmic instructions for the new cycle. And what happened at that point, and we experienced this in the Aurora journey, the Elven Aurora journey, so beautiful, as we were gifted a very specific and beautiful point of approach for the Solstice Stargate, and a way of accessing it that has been created through the legacy of 2023 and is so rare and so beautiful in terms of the passage of our collective ascension. And that is that as we went into the realm of the great central sun, of source, of spirit, to receive the pure cosmic source celestial instructions for the new cycle of light, each one of us, that we were able to carry with us that golden code accomplished within our existence. And it's the first time in the Ascension cycles, as the Elven share this, that we've been able to take a part of our physical reality here, of the encodement of what has come to be here into the light of the great central sun, that it has held the frequency, resonance, such that it can be brought and can be part of the continuum of what is generated for the next cycle. And I think many of us are feeling that as we start 2024. Oh, I don't want to reinvent and recreate myself completely, or feel like I have to leap into some great new epic goal. Actually, this strengthened feeling as never before, that what you already are, what we already are, is so unutterably beautiful, precious, whole, and that there is a quality of wanting to honor the innermost, already realized essence of what we are, and not to be striving and pushing and transforming into something else. And that is reflective of the passage we're in terms of our collective ascension, of a very rare point where it's true. Something so whole has been accomplished, does dwell, is present within our worlds, each one of us, and is to be honored and built upon, rather than reinventing ourselves all over again. And so it's not that there is not growth, but there is a longing to do this now in a different way to the way we may have perceived this point of new beginning at the time of the new year and the new solar cycle before. So to bring us back to that moment of coming into the realm of the great central sun, of source, and receiving the new cosmic instructions for each one of us, unbelievably beautifully unique. And yet there is also an overlighting quality to the divine instructions pouring through, and to the quality of the new solar cycle of light. And I know many will be having insight, and you'll be feeling insight to what that is. So I'd love to share that what I've received through the Elven, and you can feel what resonates, and let the rest go as leaves on the wind. Just feel what resonates for you, and yeah, if it doesn't resonate, just letting that go, like leaves on the wind, just lightly and beautifully. So, as I've been shown, we are lifting into a completely different experience now. We are moving into a completely different bandwave. We can lift our gaze to the heavens, to that which is starborn, that which flows in as never before. There's a new experience we're moving into now. And the old magnetics, the old continuum is fading out completely, with the exception of that golden code. So it's a very, very beautiful moment where we are experiencing that. There is this migration. And what is gifted as the quality of this new bandwave, I want to express some of this, that the overlighting quality of this, and I'll share the phrase, because last year was the handing over of the keys of power to the creation of our physical reality. And this year is that innermost essence equals greatest interconnection. And the quality being that our innermost essence, that we will feel in this year, a very unique, I just want to say naked, beautiful, simple quality of a longing to sink into and to be able to give from your most direct, simple, true, authentic, crystalline, innermost source. Any desire you've had or experienced at any other stage to be anything other than who you truly are, what is most directly and simply and immediately and truly you, will really, really phase out. So if there's still been any levels of, pulling on extra kind of layers, even of spiritual connection and interconnection and energies, even in the most beautiful forms. And this can be very, very deeply kindred. If I just go back a little to the example I gave of my own passage, through the Elven Starlight return, part of why I shared that is it really helps me to describe part of what's happening with this new placement of innermost essence and greatest interconnection. So for myself, it's as though through the last phase of Ascension, I've been called to so deeply travel into the Elven ascended galaxies of light, the filaments of golden light that interconnect those worlds, and to call them back to the earth through the galactic plane, through the solar system, through the sun, our star, through the earth, and then those returning golden lands of the new earth that I've described. And through that also I've been in deep interconnection with Gwenwyvard, who I mentioned before, that is the golden overlighting essence of my celestial soul star stream. And it's as though I have experienced, especially through these last years, this deep golden expansion of elven dimensionality, and that overlighting golden sun star queen of Gwenwyvard. And it's almost that all of that interdimensional creation is done. It is done. And through the earth and beyond. And now it's as though I'm sinking like a snowflake into my own essence here. Elen, Elena, dear of the morning star, this unique slenderness of innermost pared down that which I am within creation, and that there is a entrance point, access into this pure celestial soul star unique expression upon this earth, that I've never experienced before. I've always been curious. I always felt, well, that must be surely the trajectory always, and yet being called into, while anchoring it from here for sure, to be in this expanded sphere of calling in, and as I've spoken. And it's been of deepest I am sovereign creation, but as though the focus upon that dear of the morning star essence it's not been timely, it's not yet been the time for this. And now it's as though the permission is granted. It's like, yeah, fall in, explore this innermost essence now, this one who you are, and there's no more reference points, almost no more looking, no matter how kindred and the resonance, just this. And it's this quality that I mean, and I have a sense I'm going to create from there in a way that I've never experienced before, be from here in a way I've never experienced before. And it feels vulnerable, as I said, a little naked in some ways, as though all of the cladding of that great bejeweled elven radiance of dimensions is like, oh, now, just me here, the simplicity of this presence, and remembering now just literally my own starlight footsteps and what I carry from my innermost essence. It's the beginning, and I find myself simply sinking in over and over again as I sit here in this great house that's one of the places I grew up in the coldness of winter all around. Just almost back to the beginning of who I am. And as I run in the early morning, freezing cold and light, the deer are springing out. They literally ran across our path this morning, and a great stag, his warm, great brown haunches lying right beside me under the trees as I ran yesterday, or actually the day before. So close, and then gazing into each other's eyes. And yeah, it's a magical, beautiful, bewildering thing, as always. I find there's a new cycle, a new vibrational bandwave is journeyed into its true unknown quality. I mean, I could, if I stood out and looked at it objectively, it all makes beautiful sense. I can identify it, but the truth is I haven't walked this passage before. It is an unknown beneath my feet. And if I anchor into my heart and into the lived experiential of this, it is all new. And so, innermost essence. But what they're sharing is, and I describe all of this, if you want to see a written version very fully in the newsletter, just very clearly and simply outlining these phases of the energy that we're now within. I'll try and speak it as succinctly and simply here as possible. That, how so best to describe this? So, as I experienced this, as I was shown all of this, it was actually as I came into the realm of the great central sun at that moment, that point of solstice, and listened in the prayer of the stillness, unutterably beautiful, through the many realms, to what was being called to, the pulse of light, the wave light coming in for the new cycle. I was shown myself as that dear of the morning star presence upon the earth, and shown how the simplicity of every footstep, and I was showing myself as an example of what is true for each one. Every moment sets that ripple of light, that if I'm in my energy of intention, that opens star doors in worlds beyond, sun doors, rose golden light, sigils of the elder light language opening in what is seen as the future from the perspective here, that opens codes of light of the golden rose elven doorways, and touches worlds in the deeper simplicity of who I am in the moment, lived moment here. I walk in that true essence. And so in this space of the experience of innermost essence, knowing how deeply who we are touches the many worlds and realms, innermost essence equals greatest interconnection. And of course, again, as I say, we may know this, but the quality of this year is we'll come to feel this. And what dissolves out with that is that feeling of, oh gosh, if I just rest in who I am, and I don't call in any extra fanfare and any extra, amazingness, that I won't be enough. I'm too small. I'm insignificant. There's not much to me. That just dissolving out of the experience, and knowing that not, let alone you, any moment, any moment of your existence, its profoundest weight of significance to the whole, and the equality of every being and every moment. There's the gift of this, the equality of every being and every moment, every gesture. No one is grander or more important than another. No one person, no one moment, no one being, because this level of knowing and remembering the quantum immediacy of our essence and how it touches everything. So it's an experience, and how the gift that you give here, that which you are here, touches to worlds, and that which we might see as our future or our ancient and our timeless moment, and literally then generates, ripples back to this moment and generates the potentialities of the now here, star-seeded through another dimension that we see as the future from our linear perspective in this moment. So there is this phrase being gifted to me, the depth of intertemporality, the depth of the interdimensionality of divine timings. And by that I don't mean being caught in the collective time construct, but an experience of the exquisite timings of our sacred vibrational song of beingness that generates what might say as timings that interconverge, and rather than needing the stamp of our collective agreement of time that sets one music as the one we must all follow, the convergence of our songs, our different timings, if you like, converging in the most beautiful ways, untethered by the forced beat of any march that we call time. So just to reference that, so that was a little deep dive into that, and it may be something I explore more fully at another moment in the pod. It spirals back through. But this play through the sense of past, present, future can be an experience that is deeply non-linear and beautiful. It's the ripples of the convergence of dimensions and intertemporality that can be part of the deep quality of the now moment. Very, very beautiful. It doesn't take us outside of this now moment to participate and enjoy the petals of this refined sentience, and knowing that the more present we become actually opens out. It's one of the joy of our interdimensionality, intertemporality. And so, yeah, I think that is everything I wanted to share for this Elven pod. I go between, don't I? Elven pod, Immortal Star Pod, supporting the truth of our Immortal Starlight dream, your Immortal Starlight dream, the one who you are, walking this earth once more. And yeah, deepest blessing. I can feel the energy completing, but you'll hear me shuffling through if you're just watching. I'm just gonna check if you're listening, I'm just gonna check my notes and check I did share everything that I wanted to. Yeah, there's a little more in the newsletter in some areas. If you want to just read that through, that might fill in some areas of this in slightly more detail, but I think that is the main essence gifted for now. And yeah, so all that remains, as I say, have bundled in many layers of wool, and a little frazzled, having come through my great portal of change that really is reflective, I feel, of, as I sink into it, a change that is a shift, no matter how it looks in your outer life, that is part of a deeper bandwave shift, literally a shift from one creational shared bandwave of solar celestial radiance to another. And that, as they say, the magnetics of the old is fading out completely. We are left simply with that golden code, something with realized, of that realized golden immortal starlight, Christ-light within your physical reality and world. There is that one foundation code. And with that, migrating into a completely new bandwave of solar, celestial, creational radiance now within our lives upon this earth. And I know each of us will be tracking and sensing in a deepest listening what that means for us. I know that part of the longing is for a really authentic start when we start a new year. We want to embark on something so aware that whatever we initiate now will ripple through and through. And the longing to embark on something that's deeply authentic, real, and that is of the best and the highest for you and for all of the realms. And so may this pod really support that for you and support you in creating in the way that is, dreaming in the way that is truest for you at this time. So with very much love, Ianan a Sarathian. And with an elven blessing upon this year, Kian Arasen Ananyara Thorathian, as we begin upon that journey of innermost essence, Karathian Onamara Kian, that is in truth our point of greatest, deepest interconnection. Nanara Onamera Kiana Senathian. With so much love, and I shall see you soon. Farewell. For now.